Hey guys, Quigon Quasar here, back again with another Battlefront 2 video. In this video I'm going to be giving you my tips and tricks for Ewok Hunt. It's an amazing mode, I'm loving it so far. And these tips and tricks I've picked up over about 10 hours of gameplay, so I'm not pro by any means. I don't know if you can even be pro at Ewok Hunt. I don't think you can be an Ewok Hunt pro, but you can be a pretty good Ewok player. I'm going to be showing you in this video how to be better with Stormtroopers and Ewoks, how to survive longer, how to get more kills, and so on and so on. Now, first tip is, when you're hit by Wisties or when a Stormtrooper is hit by Wisties, the player will instinctively turn around and assume that the attacking Ewok is behind them. Generally speaking, when someone's hit by a Wistie, if the Ewok isn't in front of them, and this, I do this, you guys probably do this, if the Ewok isn't in their vision already, they're going to assume that the Ewok is dead set behind them, like right behind them. Now, you can use this to your advantage. If you think, instead of standing, say if you're chasing a Stormtrooper, instead of standing right behind the Stormtrooper and then throwing the Wisties, he's just going to turn around, put his flashlight on you and shoot you. Use it to your advantage. Think a bit more smarter. Hit him from the side, throw Wisties and then attack from a different direction. It's a lot more unexpected, and if he catches you in his flashlight, especially if he's using one of the DLTs, one of the fully automatic guns, he'll take you down very easily, and it'll be very hard to kill him at that point. A lot of players do this. I've done it. Many players do it. I watch it all the time. Playing as an Ewok, or playing as a trooper, I always get that happen to me. Bear that in mind. If you're going to throw Wisty at a player, don't be right behind him, because he's going to turn around instantly and probably shoot you. Now, the cave offers the best visibility and really the best survivability for Stormtroopers in the entire map. It's kind of the best place to hide. There's a lot of open areas and you can't really hold down the entire cave, even with like 15 or 16 troopers. However, it does obviously give you really the only part of the map where you have complete visibility. You don't necessarily have to use your flashlight. Bear in mind though, there is an entrance to the cave that the Ewoks can get through and throw Wisties through. It's above the main room where the cage is that dangles from the ceiling. There's a bit of an entrance for anyone that doesn't know. Ewoks can get through there, Stormtroopers can get through there. It's really annoying that if you're playing as a Stormtrooper and you just keep getting hit by Wisties, you don't know where it's from. It's probably through that. It's probably through that little cave entrance. Now, if you're playing as an Ewok, this entrance to the cave, it's kind of hard to find. If you watch my Ewok Hunt streams, I've only done one of them, I kept trying to find this entrance and I couldn't find it for ages. It's such a difficult spot to find. Eventually, I figured out where it was. There's a main stream that runs down the mountain above the cave, which creates the waterfall over the main entrance to the cave. If you climb up the mountain as an Ewok or even as a Stormtrooper, follow that stream, follow it like visually and on, audio, on your headphones or whatever. It will lead you to the little entrance to the cave where you could sneak into and attack from. I think it's also going to be in this gameplay in the background of the video. You might see it in the gameplay in the background of the video. Now, next tip, there's actually, like I said, a cage hanging from the ceiling of the cave that you can actually jump into. You've probably seen a few players do this. It takes a bit of practice and it's hard to get into at first, but once you're in, you are actually completely safe from the Ewoks. I say completely. You're safe from the Ewoks individually, but not from the Wisties. They can still throw Wisties at you and do damage to that. Now, a trick to getting into the cage is to run to the far left. There's like a rock that you'll see in the gameplay. Don't just jump straight into the cave. Jump to the left a little bit, run to the left, and then jump. You'll see in the gameplay, kind of imitate what I did in the gameplay, and you should get to the cage, because that's really hard to get in. It's got like a sprint bug or whatever, where it doesn't let you sprint at certain points of the entrance to the cage. You'll see what I mean, just watching the gameplay and try and get in yourself. It's kind of like a bug, it's kind of like an invisible wall or whatever. Now, there's actually a hollow lock near the center of the map that you can hide in. If you have another trooper with you, you've probably already been to this log, but if you have another trooper with you, or several troopers with you, you can all cover one direction and then the rest of you cover the opposite direction. And obviously the lock is only two. There's an entrance and another entrance on either side. It makes it very difficult for Ewoks to sneak up on you or overrun you or hoard you, because you've got both sides covered. I actually did this in my stream, my Ewok Hunt stream. We had the entire team, literally like 14 Stormtroopers, all gathered in this log, and we survived the entire time in there. And the log's actually very close to the evac zone as well. It makes it very difficult for Ewoks to get in there, so I'd recommend going to the log if the cave's a no-go or you're getting a bit bored of the cave. The log's really good, just make sure you've got some teammates there. Don't go there on your own. It's a very bad place to go on your own. Now, if you're playing as an Ewok, you are getting annoyed about this strategy, because I've seen it happen, not just from me, but other people too. Your best counter to this sort of strategy and tactic is to throw Whisties into the log. They'll all scatter. A lot of the troopers will run out of the log when you throw Whisties in. And also, if you throw multiple Whistie pouches, like say if you've got other Ewoks around you, throw multiple Whistie pouches in, they're all going to scatter and they're all going to take damage. Here's the entrance to the cave, by the way, in the background of the video. That's how you get in. And there's me being a bit of a douche throwing the Whisties in. But yeah, Hollow Log, very good place to go. If you have a large group of Stormtroopers in there, it'll basically be impossible for the Ewoks to take you out. Remember, Whisties are your best friend as an Ewok if people are hiding in the log. The next tip is there are weapon crates on the map. Obviously, they contain a better blaster, infinite flashlight battery, and an incendiary grenade. These crates can sometimes be very hard to find, however. I've only found 2 of them on the map. I think there's 4 or 5 on the map. Now, the best way of finding these crates isn't actually looking for them, it's listening for them. If you listen for them, say if you've got headphones, or just turn your TV volume up really, really high, there's actually a humming noise, like a robotic humming noise that these crates make. They'll sort of draw you towards the crates. Obviously, headphones, it'll be a lot easier to hear or listen for them. But yeah, every crate that I've found on this map, it's been because I've listened for them, not because I've found them, because they're pretty dark. They're like black or grey crates. They're kind of difficult to find on a very dark map. Also, very good places to camp. If you can get there, if you start as an Ewok at the start of the match, if you can get there before the Stormtroopers do, you can guarantee that the Stormtroopers are going to head straight for those crates. I'm actually heading to one of them now, next to the downed AT-AT. You can really camp there. They're really good camp points. If you can get there before the Stormtroopers do, you can use it as like bait, and then you can wreck them. Obviously, ideally get the Stormtrooper, kill the Stormtrooper before he opens the crate, because then you're screwed if he grabs the crate, because then he's got a good gun and Molotov. Now, Stormtrooper Health works a lot like Hero Health from the game, or from the, Galactic Assault on Heroes vs. Villains. It only partially regenerates. If a Stormtrooper takes enough damage, his health regeneration will be capped, and it'll only regen part of his health. Bear this in mind. I see a lot of people taking too many risks. They'll just run all around the map. I do this too, trying to get kills as a Stormtrooper, not realizing that every bit of damage you do basically caps your health regeneration. If you keep doing that, your health cap is just going to keep lowering and lowering. I think it starts at 200 or 150 or something. It can lower all the way down to like 40. And that's only like 2 hits that the Ewok will need to do, or even 1 hit. Or 1 Whistie patch, and then you'll be dead. The Ewok will take you out. Now, there's a small delay. I really hate this about this game, and it actually really annoys me. But it's fair enough. It's like a balancing factor. There's a small delay for the Ewok's main spear attack after using a Whistie pouch. If you might need your spear soon, like say if you think you're about to need your spear, if a trooper's walking straight past you, don't use a Whistie pouch, as you'll be unable to attack with your spear for a few seconds. It's kind of like a cooldown delay. Every time you use a Whistie pouch, there's kind of like an attack cooldown. I don't know if it's a bug or if it's intentional, but it's really annoying. So say if you're about to, need your spear, don't just use a Whistie pouch for the sake of it. Be very strategic and tactical with the way you use your Whistie pouch. God, I'm getting sick of saying the word Whistie pouch in this stream or in this video. It's a very common word in EwokCon. Now, combat rolls are like the bread and butter of EwokCon. They're super effective for Ewoks and for troopers. The Ewok spear doesn't have a very long forward lunge like lightsabers do. Like say when you're playing with a lightsaber hero, you've got a very magnetic lunge. If you lunge near a hero or near an enemy, it's just going to draw you to them and automatically sort of attack them. Ewok spears don't really do that. They have it a little bit, but the lunge isn't very far. It's not very magnetized, and it's, like I said, it's not very far. Now, bear this in mind when I say combat rolls are super effective. Basically, if an Ewok's trying to kill you, if it's chasing after you from behind, you combat roll, they won't be able to hit you. And it works both ways, obviously. You guys have probably noticed, if you're chasing after a Stormtrooper and you're trying to hit him, if he just keeps combat rolling and using dodge, you're not going to be able to hit him at all. The only thing that's going to take him down then is a Whistie pouch. Again, I've said that goddamn word. Or another Ewok, obviously. Now, they're also, like I said, really useful for Ewoks, because if you've been caught in the radius of a Stormtrooper's flashlight, you can quickly escape that sort of cone of light by using a combat roll, obviously. Now this is the only way to survive an encounter or a dead-on encounter and face-to-face encounter with a Stormtrooper, because even if the Stormtrooper just got the base weapon, hasn't picked up one of the DLT-19s, the Stormtrooper, you know, will down you pretty quickly, take you down pretty damn quickly, because Ewoks really don't have a lot of health. They have like 60 or 80 health. So combat rolls, if a Stormtrooper has seen you, a combat roll is really useful. Try and combat roll out of the light and he'll lose you instantly because of how dark the map is. Obviously not in the cave though. I wouldn't recommend going in the cave unless you have to as an Ewok, because you will get seen very easily. Also use crouch in the cave or in any part. You can crouch as an Ewok and it really helps you blend in. It also hides your eyes a little bit because the Ewok kind of puts his head down so your eyes aren't glowing and making you stand out quite as much. Also, combat rolling will also break the auto-aim of the Trooper's blaster. Auto-aim, obviously, in this game, sometimes is pretty useful, it's pretty active in this game. It's not the most sort of automatic auto-aim ever, but combat rolling as an Ewok will break the auto-aim of the Stormtrooper, which will obviously help a lot in dodging the shots from the trooper that's trying to kill you. Now, the best strategy to use as an Ewok is like the hit and run maneuver, I call it. Troopers have a lot more health than you, and they can kill you in one shot to the head or 3 shots to the torso. So when you catch a trooper by surprise, attack him once or twice, then run away. I see a lot of players just attack, spam. If you just spam attack behind a trooper, the trooper's just going to turn around and shoot you before you have a chance to really take his health down enough to kill him or like permanently limit his health cap. You just saw in the gameplay there, and Ewok did exactly that, hit and run maneuver, and now he returned and he's getting wrecked. But yeah, hit and run maneuver, attack him once or twice, run away, hide, use your Wisties maybe to lower his health or distract him, then attack him from a different direction, an unexpected sort of direction or angle. And yeah, don't spam the spear attack because you'll get killed as an Ewok a lot. I did that for like my first 3 hours of my Ewok hunt stream, and I just kept dying over and over again. It was really annoying. Now, the Ewok traps are incredibly annoying and will take the majority of their health and even sometimes kill you instantly. A lot of people just think there's no give, there's no tell when you're about to get killed by a trap. Either you walk into it or you don't. But there is actually a couple of ways of knowing when there's a trap in front of you or near you. One of the best ways to avoid them is to keep your flashlight aimed right at the ground when you're running through the forest. Obviously not if you're in the cave because there's no traps there. But if you're running in the parts of the forest where there are traps, always keep your flashlight aimed squarely at the ground or right in front of you. A lot of players will just like wave it all around the forest because they're scared because there might be an Ewok next to them and they walk straight into a trap. You actually will see me do that during this gameplay. But no, keep it square, focused solely in front of you, and when you come across a trap or when you're right in front of a trap, the light will shine onto the tripwire and it will be quite obvious, it will be quite easily noticeable. Apart from that point, that was a really bad point to say that because I just got killed during that. But yeah, as you can see, I was sprinting, I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. Don't sprint as well. When you're going through the forest, in a part of the forest where there might be some tripwires, don't sprint because your flashlight's going to go down. It's going to be pointed at the floor when you're sprinting, obviously, so don't sprint. That's something to bear in mind. Also, the traps, not the tripwires themselves, but the actual traps that dangle from the trees, they also emit a slight sound. If you listen really carefully and you've got the volume turned up enough, you'll actually hear the sound of a rope being stretched when you are near a trap. And that basically is the noise of the trap dangling in the air, but it's a really good tell. If you're close to a trap, you'll hear it's kind of like a rope being stretched or pulled, sort of taut. You'll hear that noise, and it gives it away. You know that the trap is nearby. That's just the trap dangling, ready to kill you, so bear that in mind. Also, shooting Wisties seems to reduce their active time and gets them off you faster. I've noticed that when I'm surrounded by Wisties, spamming blaster shots all around me towards the Wisties seems to reduce the time that they're on me and gets them to go quicker. I don't know if I'm just imagining it, but it seems to work just as well as combat rolling. And running away from the Wisties seems to do. So bear that in mind, when you're hit by Wisties, combat roll, shoot, combat roll. That seems to work against Wisties and reduces their active time, reduces the amount of time that they're running you, basically. Now, you'll hear a twanging noise whenever... twanging noise. I don't know how to describe this, just pay attention in the game. When an Ewok throws a Wistie pouch at you, you're going to hear kind of like a twanging sort of pouch being thrown noise. and that's basically the only tell you're gonna get when a Wisty Pouch is being thrown at you. That sort of twanging noise, that's your opportunity to run very fast in the opposite direction. When you hear that noise, just run in the opposite direction. Wherever that noise came from, run in the opposite direction, because that's just the tell of a Wisty Pouch being thrown at you, so bear that in mind. Now that's all I've got. Like I said, if you've got any tips, share them in the comments, because I could really use them. The gameplay's not that great, like I'm not that good at the mode yet, but I think I've got a bit more strategy than a lot of the players. A lot of the players are just going into it and spamming and walking into traps, and just ignoring the sounds that they get from Wisty Pouches. So I thought I'd share my tips. Like I said, if you've got any tips, share them too. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video.